Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Evans, and today I'm talking to two younger people, Emily and Javier, about eating.
Hey there.
Hey, Dr. Mike.
So, guys, just so you know, we parents often come at this topic from a place of worry. Is my kid eating enough? Is my kid eating too much? You guys have a lot more screens in your world, and the more we think about all these things, what we should be doing, compare that to what we are doing, throw in some headlines about obesity epidemics, and it becomes a bit overwhelming. And I know you might say, relax, but eating is complex. It's family connections, it's calories, it's comfort, it's culture. So I thought we'd break it down a bit, simplify it into, some small bites or places to start. Let me start with a question for you guys. When people or your parents are asking you about your eating, where do they usually start?
Oh, the food. I shouldn't eat this. I should eat that. Less packaged foods. Oh, don't eat so much sugar.
Yeah, eat less candy, less fast food, less pop.
So lots of don'ts and less, but maybe we can start somewhere else. Let's shift it a bit from the what to the how we eat. So Emily and Javier, let's start how you eat at your average day.
I guess I don't eat that much breakfast. I don't feel that hungry in the morning. I eat some of my packed lunch, whatever's good. Oh, also pop. Dinner's kind of all over the place since we often have different schedules. Like, I have soccer or flute. My sister has basketball. Sometimes I eat in the car. My mom and dad try to make sure it's healthy.
Okay, so you can see that when we look at your whole day, it can be a bit surprising how all over the place your eating can be. We miss meals, overeat, eat not enough. With our busy lives, eating regularly often falls down the priority list. So instead of just thinking about our diets, let's think about how we eat. What the dietitians call normalized eating. Just getting in the habit of eating regularly. 3 balanced meals a day starting in the morning and ending in the evening, with 2 or 3 healthy snacks in between. That's it.
Okay, how do you make that work?
Well, let's start with a plan that's simple and repeatable. A breakfast doesn't have to be huge, but maybe just focus on getting some good protein and fiber to power you through the morning. Switch up that plain white bagel for some whole grain toast with some healthy peanut or other nut butter. Maybe throw in some fruit with yogurt and cereal. And how about trade in that frosted cereal that turns your milk all those weird colors for something whole grain like shredded wheat? We're going for less than 8 grams of sugar and more than 4 grams of fiber.
Dude, you sound like my mom. She's always trying to get me to eat plain oatmeal before I leave the house, but it's boring.
Maybe you guys could meet in the middle. Maybe some maple syrup or some fruit to sweeten it up.
Okay, all right.
Okay, while you're doing that, maybe you can ask your mom and dad about your family choice architecture.
What? What's choice architecture?
Yeah, funny phrase. Well, it's an idea every family could think about. Many of our choices are shaped by what's happening around us. They become automatic. And if we can rethink the triggers, we can actually help people make choices that they themselves think are better. So let me give you some examples. So if I bring down a mega bag of chips, or put a quarter of that bag in a bowl, what are you going to do?
Eat it all?
That's right. In both circumstances, you'll mindlessly eat it all, especially if you're staring at a screen. But when I put part of the bag in the bowl, I change your choice architecture. You still get the pleasure of the chips, but you're not eating a full bag.
Got it.
If you have food that's not too healthy, but tastes good sitting on the counter or in the cupboard, that is super easy to open and you're hungry, what are you going to do?
Eat it?
Exactly. Okay, here's another example. And this is a bit pathetic but true. If I set out whole apples or sliced apples, research shows that many of us ignore the whole apple, but jump on the sliced ones.
So, I'm betting if my parents change my choice architecture and make good food easier to pick when I get home, I'll make better choices.
Yep. Remember, this isn't necessarily about your weight. It's actually more about how what you eat can make you feel better and do better in school, perform better at sports, theater, whatever.
I bet rethinking our kitchen choices and shopping would also change my dad.
Yeah, if your dad is like me, he's a grazer. He eats what's there. If it's crappy, he'll eat that. Or if it's healthy, he'll eat that. The good news is lots of us are grazers, and changing our choice architecture will make a big difference. Another thing I do as a parent is I do remember to pack lunch, but I forget to think about snacks. We know that kids often skip the good things in their lunch and go for the packaged snacks and juice. It's quick, and usually lunch is rushed. That's why dietitians say it's important to make those quick grab items healthy, preferably not lots of ingredients, or don't come in a package. For example, a bag with some almonds and raisins, sliced cheese with cucumber and whole grain crackers, carrot sticks with hummus, or a hard-boiled egg, and so on.
Sometimes at dinner, my dad gets my sister and I to help chop veggies or make stuff. If we remember, we make extra and put it in small containers for lunches and snacks during the week. For some reason, I usually eat the snacks I help make.
My mom tapes a label 3:30 on the snack to remind me to eat it on the way home. Otherwise, I'm stopping at the corner store.
Yeah, I also think when making these changes, it's okay not to be too hardcore. Javier and Emily, think consistency instead of perfection. Life happens. When I think of the people I know that are healthy and happy, they're the ones just on a kale diet, who eat the least, or who know the calorie content of everything. They're the ones who eat regularly, have a good sense of when they've had enough, and eat all types of different foods in moderation, from kale to cupcakes.
I like that. I'll tell my parents that my mission, should I accept it, is to not be perfect.
Roger that. Parents don't need to be perfect either, but they should know that research has also shown that how parents eat, how they role model, can be a stronger force in improving their kids' diet in the long run than trying to control. Eating well is a team sport.
Dr. Mike, speaking of team sports, I feel like we miss or rush dinner a lot. Does that matter?
Spectacular question, Em. Well, these are good options to have. I mean, I'm a big fan of exercise or whatever your passion is, music or drawing or skateboarding or, I don't know, hockey. But I think dinners are also important and often get lost in the shuffle of our overprogrammed lives. Enjoying food with your family, de-stressing, catching up, listening, supporting. Family dinners aren't always possible and not always perfect, but there is a science that tells us to keep family meals on the priority list. A 2011 review showed that teens that had more family dinners were 35% less likely to have disordered eating, 24% more likely to eat healthier foods, and 12% less likely to be overweight. But the researchers wondered, was it the family or the dinner? What if a parent wasn't present, and so on? So a 2012 follow-up review looked at these issues and concluded that associations between family dinners and teenager well-being remained significant, but these effects didn't continue past adolescence. So, Emily, to answer your question, I think the science shows family dinners are important. Even if it's just 3 times a week, bonding goes on even if it's hectic, and they're especially important for people like you. So, does this make sense to you guys?
Yep.
Totally.
Anne Frank, another young person you two could read about, once remarked how wonderful it was that nobody needs to wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. And I think the same is true about ourselves. No need to wait to make one small change to your weekly eating. Change our family choice architecture, being consistent, not perfect. And guys, I think Emily and Javier, you'd be surprised that if you made one small positive change, your family would jump right in.